Isis was a scientific woman, the brewer. So she like fermented seeds. She mixed some sugar with the water of the seeds that were soaked in water, and discovered fermentation. That's so clever. And then she baked with that fermentation because she was a baker. And I bet you that was really cool as well. Smart cookie. And then also it says she is a weaver. And I will tell you a portion of the story. So the coffin, after traveling down the Nile with Osiris inside of it, landed in Phoenicia, and it landed in the damask tree, and it was caught. And anyway, the tree grew around the coffin and was the greatest girth that anyone had ever seen of this tree. And the king got to hear about it. He was like, bro, look, let's cut that tree down, rack it up to the palace, and we'll put it up as a pillar in one of the rooms there. So this is what they did. And inside, encased within the bark of the tree, was Osiris in the coffin that Seth had made to kill him. Now, Isis traveled the ocean to Phoenicia from Egypt and found that the tree had been cut down and was up at this palace with another, I think, goddess. Actually, I will try to remember who it is. I think it is like Ashtar. So the tree was in the temple of Ashtar. Now, what happens is she goes up to the castle, and the girls are coming, the maidens that live at the temple of Ashtar were cruising down to do their morning bathing, and Isis met them there, and she talked with the girls, and she told the story of her husband and her search and everything, and she braided the girls' hair, and it was the first time that their hair had ever been braided, and no one had ever seen that weave before. So the girls go back up, and they've all got their hair braided, and Ashtar asks them, how'd you do this hairstyle, and what made you come up with this, and what is this hairstyle? And they told about the woman that they met down in the water, or the pool, or the well, one of the three. I think it's a well, but anyway, she was like, Ashtar was like, and they told the story, and she said, go get her. So they brought her up, and they brought her into the room where the tree trunk was in this room, and Isis cried and hugged the tree, and she pleaded her story to Ashtar that her husband was inside this tree, and she needed to cut it open and break the tree, and could she please do this? And they had to discuss it, because the king was like, what? No way. That's like the best looking piece of tree I've ever seen in my life. I don't want to wreck it. Cost me a damn fortune getting all those people and bringing it up here and shit like that, for what? Crack it open. You're not doing it. And so anyway, Isis had to plead her case to the king. And then finally they were like, oh my gosh, she's, for real. And so they cut it open, and it was the coffin. She opened it up. He was green. His whole skin was all green because he'd been breathing lead ever since he'd been chucked in. And it was a long time, but he was still alive, okay? So back in those times, the vital body, our human body, it says that Isis is a goddess. Well, she's a goddess because she does have an asteroid, so she is. Okay, let me just get back to the story. So anyway, Osiris was still alive, and she was like, right, we're getting him back on the boat, and we're taking him back to Egypt. And while they were on the boat journey back, that's when she started these breathing exercises, and she was fanning her arms and stuff, and it's the wings. And she used the feathers and waved the air around him so that when he exhaled, the lead that was within his body was swished away, and his air was always fresh sea air. So fresh sea air on the Mediterranean journey all the way back to Egypt, a nice slow journey, slowly getting him back to wellness again, slowly being able to feed him broth. Slowly he's able to sit up. She revived him back to life with her consistent effort. She was not going to pause. Now, when they came back to Egypt, she didn't go. They lived in Memphis at the time, but Seth had taken over, and he was a bad dude, and he was the king of everything now, and yada yada. He was expanding his empire because Seth himself started the first trade business out of the Gulf of Eden, which is out from the Red Sea, and it's I can't, at the moment remember its Egyptian name. But anyway, now, when Isis got back to the Mediterranean, to the delta of Egypt, she stayed in the marshes, and there's these blue lilies that grow in Egypt, and she also, that was good for him to breathe because they're healing. They're a healing, calming, but healing lily. So he lived in there, and she kept him. Anyway, she knew everything to do because her magic is the greatest magic of all. And he walked around in the evening, and he was getting his vitality back. So they were happy, and they had plenty of time to have sex, guys. And I'm pretty sure they did it in the marshes. That's what I reckon. Sorry to tell you, it didn't happen in the coffin room. Happened in the delta, in the marshes, completely surrounded by nature, in a very beautiful natural surrounding. That was a place of safety. But anyway, what happened was Osiris was walking through in the night, and he was going for a little trek around, just breathing and looking at the heavens above, and probably thankful for every breath he was able to take of fresh air. And Seth was out hunting that night, and lo and behold, he was like, what? Is that Osiris? I thought he was dead. So he came upon him, and obviously there must have been enough, for him to be like, it is Osiris, because there he hacked him to 14 pieces, he hacked his body to 14 pieces. So that is how Seth treated Osiris. After he tried to kill him the first time and it didn't work, he hacked him up to pieces so that he was fully dead. You can't come back to life after you've been decapitated and you've had your body chopped to pieces. So, what a fucking idiot. Anyway, so that's what happened, and Seth is a bad guy. Now, ISIS had already been grieving all the way down the Nile while she was trying to catch up to the sighting of the coffin, seeing if she could get ahead of it and find out where the fuck everything had gone and what was going on and stuff. And she took a different course because Osiris travelled by water, but she had to travel by land, and he had gone to a party in Ethiopia, which was way in the distance on the Horn of Africa from the Delta of Egypt, and she had a long way to go. When she got there, she was already like fucking days and days behind the whole shebang, and the coffin had travelled faster than she was able to catch up to it, and it had crossed the Mediterranean in the tides and landed in the Phoenician area of the story I began with. Now, when ISIS searched, Seth scattered the 14 pieces, and ISIS searched, but she found everything, all the 14 pieces, but according to the story, there was no penis. So they created a gold penis for his mummy. He was the first man who was mummified. He was mummified to join his body back together. She tried to heal him. She tried with probably every essence and magic that she had in her power. But there is one thing that we cannot do, and somebody that is dismembered into 14 pieces does not come back to life. So Isis is the mourner, rites with the dead, magical healer of the highest power. So even the highest power can't bring a chopped up body, chopped to pieces, back to life. Now, Jesus, on the other hand, was a little bit of a different story because they didn't chop him. And even though he had a dislocated shoulder and he was badly whipped and obviously lived the rest of his life with deep scars, he was not chopped up. And also when he got stabbed with the spear, thank the Lord, he was stabbed on his right hand side, and so it didn't touch his heart. His organs were all intact, but he obviously got him in the lung, maybe, because it said water and blood. That would have hurt though. Oh man. And of course he was nailed through his feet with one nail. That hurts. Imagine walking. You can't walk once you stood on the nail. It hurts. And also he was nailed through his wrists, which made him very weak. Can't hold anything. Poor man. So luckily he was cared for. Yeah, by the Greeks, I'd like to add. Now, Isis, rites with the dead. That's Okay, that's all I've got for this time. I'll come back with another ISIS story because there is quite a few next time.